What's up, film fans, and welcome to MC on Film and my review for Blade Runner 2049. Now, Blade Runner 2049 is a sequel to the 1982 cult classic Blade Runner, starring Harrison Ford. The events for this film take place 30 years after the events of the original, and the war between replicants and Blade Runners is still ongoing. For those of you not familiar with those terms, replicants are basically androids. They speak human, they look human, and you can't really tell them apart from humans. And the Blade Runners are the people who are tasked with expiring these replicants or basically ending their life. Ryan Gosling plays a Blade Runner in this sequel, and as he's performing his duties expiring these replicants, he comes across something that leads him down this trail where now you're getting involved with the big corporation that are building these replicants. And that's about all I can say about this film without giving a spoiler, because the less you know going in, the more you'll enjoy the film, I believe. The trailers have been purposefully very vague. They don't want to tell you too much of what's going on, and that's basically the best way to watch this film. Now, to be honest, I wasn't the greatest fan of the original film. I thought it had some great philosophical ideas and the concept was good. I loved how it explored humanity and what the and how human and android can be. I thought that was a really great discussion in the original film, but I thought the execution was just not quite there. It dragged a little bit for me, and maybe it's because I saw it when I was a little older. I'm not quite sure, but again, I could appreciate its artistic value. So I wasn't quite sure if a sequel was necessary. Of course, you get the great cast of Ryan Gosling, Harrison Ford, Robin Wright, but what really drew me to see this film was the director, Denis Villeneuve. Now, I think he's one of the best directors working out there right now. He's directed Prisoners, Sicario, Enemies, The Arrival last year, and one of my favorite films of all time, Incendies, I believe the pronunciation is. I could be wrong, sorry if I am, but you gotta see this film if you haven't seen it. It's a great film. So Denis Villeneuve has not directed a film yet that I haven't absolutely loved. So I had no doubt going into Blade Runner 2049 that he could make a film that would once again just wow me out of my pants. But I have to say that this is the first film that doesn't quite get me to that level that I had with his previous movies. Pretty much had the same reaction to Blade Runner 2049 that I had for the original. Again, the concept was great. I love the philosophical discussions. I love the exploration of humanity, but the execution, once again, I just felt like wasn't quite there for me. The film drags for quite a bit sometimes here and there. And looking back on the film, I was trying to think of specific scenes that I thought maybe could be pulled out of the movie. But to be honest, every single scene does need to be there. It tells a part of the story, and the problem isn't the scene, the problem is how long the scenes are. There are many scenes where the shots just linger for a tad too long. Maybe a specific shot would be held for 2 to 3 seconds longer than I felt that it needed. And that build up over the course of the film, it kind of gets to you and you're kind of getting a little antsy in your seat and come on, let's get it moving along a little bit. Villeneuve in his previous films, he had a thing where each scene would ratchet up the tension just that little quarter turn, little by little, and over the course of the film, you can feel your innards getting all wound up a little more and more, and by the end of the film, you're just waiting for that big finale. And I love that buildup of tension. I love that buildup of excitement, and that was not there in this film for me. The scenes, again, instead of building up tension, it kind of brought me down. It took me out of the film a little bit because they did linger a little bit too long, I thought. So that's where this film didn't really quite feel like a typical Villeneuve film, to me anyway. I feel like the film could have been a 10 to 15 minutes shorter. Again, I wouldn't have taken out any particular scene. I just would have made the scenes a little shorter and more compact and making it a more streamlined film overall. But overall, you know, I like the film. I like the concepts it brought to the table. I love the philosophical discussions, and I feel like it's one of those films that's gonna make me think a little more as the days go by. At the same time, I don't really see myself rushing to go see it again. It's a beautiful film. The cinematography is great and all that. The sound, all awesome. Technically, it's a great film, but again, it just didn't quite keep my attention as much as I wanted it to. So Blade Runner 2049 gets a 6 out of 10. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do so by clicking on that little ugly mug right there, and come back next week for another movie review.